What up? This is Monty, and you're now listening to the 1,000 Story Podcast.
Welcome to the 1,000 Story Podcast. We are your hosts, Najee.
And Luis.
That was a delay.
Yeah.
And, of course, our residents, Monty.
What up? Thank you guys for having me.
Damn.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah. Thanks for coming upstairs. We really appreciate
It's a long
you
journey.
taking
you
the
know?
time to come all the way up here.
Guys, so what are we talking about today? We got a few different things.
We got a lot of things.
Be covering, exposing. So,
Yeah.
as you all might know, Coachella happened over the weekend, or last weekend, right?
It was both weekends.
Right now.
So, Coachella, weekend 2, happened this past weekend.
Yes.
And...
Yep.
Yes, it did.
And
Crazy.
apparently, Ariana Grande, was Ariana receiving flack, or was it Beyonce receiving flack?
No, Ariana was receiving flag. So Beyonce came out with this documentary, the Homecoming documentary, which is a Netflix exclusive, right? And it basically details her entire journey and creative process when it came to creating her Coachella experience, aka Baychella. Last year?
Right.
Was it last year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I don't know if it came out within the documentary or if people were looking at numbers, but it just came out that she was paid $4 million. And then people were looking at Ariana Grande and Coachella being like, how come Ariana is making $8 million and Beyonce only made $4 million?
Right.
But what people failed to understand is that Beyonce also made $8 million. That's the headlining spot. You get $8 million, right?
Right.
But it's $4 million per weekend because she performed 2 weekends.
Got him.
So,
I mean, but first off, shout out to all the people counting other people's money.
You know?
true.
How you feel about it, Monty? Let's talk about it.
I mean, it's none of your business. But I mean, because everything is public, everyone has something to say about it now, you know?
Yeah.
So.
But you were saying something about the breakdown, though, which is pretty interesting.
Oh, I mean, yeah. The artists aren't making a full flat $8 million. They got to split it with their team, the band, the dancers, the label. They're involved. Like, there's so many different pieces and people a part of the pie.
100%.
Yeah.
That's just all the number that people see. But
True.
that's not what they're walking out with.
So how much do you think Ariana walked away with? How much do you think Ariana walked away with versus how much Bey walked away with?
Ooh.
Damn. Okay.
That's tough.
That's hard.
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. Beyonce
She got some pull.
She has
Leverage.
but she also has a lot of people involved. Her productions
Also
are
true.
Yeah.
very
Elaborate.
For
sure.
And I know that costs a pretty penny. So I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe Ariana may walk away more. I mean, I don't know.
I will agree with that because I feel like, and this goes back to what her live, like I don't know, I don't even know what title he has, but it's basically like the live stage manager or something like that, like the guy who's like helping her design the show. I don't know what it's called. But he was talking about Beyonce's performance last year, just basically saying like she set the bar and now everybody's trying to outdo that bar.
Yeah.
Which
Interesting.
it makes sense, but he was saying like, it might just be better for artists to just go out there, give everything they have, just perform and then try to make a cultural statement every single time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, the thing about that, before you get into what you're about to say.
I'm about to get into it.
The thing about that, though, is that it makes it sound like Ariana's performance was basically just like going to one of her shows, which wasn't like a,
Coachella.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Like it wasn't like a
it's
pivotal.
unique, yeah, to
exactly.
itself. Yeah,
exactly. So that's why I feel like Ariana's probably going to walk away with more, because it's like,
agree.
it's just Ariana performing like her normal-ish show.
Right.
Which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
She's
to each his
Ariana.
own.
She's
No.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But Beyonce definitely just went.
Yeah.
She went hard.
She
with it.
probably
She went
invested more into creating that type of experience,
Yeah.
though, too.
Yeah.
Just to truly make sure that it really was. You could only get this at Coachella, which is why she also, shout out to the whole marketing team. They got a whole television, Netflix special about it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's true.
That makes sense. Why she went.
She's
the
probably
extra
going to
mile.
recoup the cost
Correct.
from the Netflix
There
deal.
you go. That's
Hey.
what I'm saying.
Well, the Netflix deal was 60 mil, so she's
So-
definitely
Oh,
recouping.
fuck.
Well,
yeah.
there you go. Hey, forget about the Coachella. Forget about that fee. So, but that's a real thing, actually.
Yeah.
You could actually makes a lot of sense.
That's a great move.
Exactly.
So basically, just be like, create this dope experience at Coachella, make it a loss, or not even make any money off of that whatsoever, but have a deal with Netflix and do a whole thing about it.
So that covers all of that, and everybody else is taken care of.
Yeah.
That's a smart win-win.
She's probably walking away out of that 60 mil deal with over 8 million.
Oh,
Exactly.
Damn, that's some finesse though.
yeah.
See, but that's how you maneuver in the game.
Damn.
That's smart.
That's
Absolutely.
fucking smart.
But she's got the leverage to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
Although I feel like Ariana could definitely. Well, I don't know if she would pull 60 mil deal from Netflix.
Nah,
Nah, she didn't have the history.
Nah, it's
too
not
early.
Beyonce. Sorry.
It's definitely.
she's still making her history. Beyonce has been around for so long.
Yeah.
Queen B.
Yeah.
She's a queen
Yeah.
bee. You feel me?
Yeah.
For sure. So,
Yeah.
speaking of queens and getting that leverage and having that reputation, right? I have some feelings about people who come on stage and granted they put on a show, right?
Yeah.
There are lights, there are flashy, there's flashiness, there's a vibe, but people are there and they enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
I get that. But if you're getting paid 8 mil, I want to see you actually perform,
True.
right?
True.
I want to be there and not be able to just pull up YouTube and feel like that's the same thing going on. Like
Yeah.
over the weekend, the first weekend, I saw J Balvin go up. There was a few different artists too, but J Balvin was one of the headliners, right? Like top billing acts,
Right.
Because he's up there. He's number
Hey, man.
one on Spotify.
Is he number one now
Yeah,
on Spotify?
first in the world.
Holy
beat out Drake.
shit.
He's out there.
Wow.
Right. He's got all the audience leverage. He's got all the streaming leverage, the label leverage. He's earning that check, right, outside of the performance. Then he
Still
gets
wasn't
up,
a headliner.
still
Still wasn't a headliner.
still wasn't a headliner, but he's up there,
Yeah.
right? Then he gets on stage, and the first thing that I notice is the fact that the stage is very brightly lit, very, very energetic, very enigmatic.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. Well, like the stage design was incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nobody
absolutely.
can negate that. That was amazing. But the fact that he just got out there and his DJ started his song and J Balvin didn't come out for another 20-something seconds while his song's still playing. And then when he did get out there, he proceeded to say one word and dance. Not even dance, shimmy. And he's getting paid, I don't know what, but at minimum, I would guess, my own personal guess is him as a non-headlining act but still major act. If headlining is 8 mil, right, or 4 mil for a weekend,
Yeah.
right, I would assume an act like J Balvin, $1 mil, right? I feel like that's a fair estimate.
Yeah.
I feel
not
like
bad.
that's
That's a pretty good
that's a
estimate.
solid
Yeah.
slot.
Yeah.
And he's a solid
Second
artist.
to the headliner slot. Yeah.
Yeah, like $1 mil.
Yeah.
Right. And you're telling me that this man got paid $1 million to have his DJ play his and Daddy Yankee's songs,
There was a whole medley about that.
a whole medley of other people's songs.
Yeah. Then he brought out Sean Paul.
Then he brought out Sean Paul, and all he had to do was shimmy. Okay, first of all, like, I appreciate the finesse. Like, I respect that, but I also fucking hate that so
Yeah.
much.
Yes. Yes.
As an artist who is spending his time and energy trying to craft a performance. Something, granted, people remembered it, right? I'm not going to say nobody remembered J Balvin's performance.
Yeah.
It was remembered. It was loved. It was adored. But it's also Coachella.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that I only have to effectively shimmy to get $1 million? I'm pissed. I wasted so much time.
Oh my God.
I respect
What?
the finesse.
Yeah.
The finesse of it all pisses me off. Like, the fact that we're okay with that people really just let that happen is a shame.
Yeah.
And it goes back to
Yeah.
what Tyler's sentiment on the whole festival was. It's like people just go to Coachella to say they went to Coachella and show other people they went to Coachella.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's true.
And that is such a disheartening thing.
It's true.
It just blew me.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It changed the way I look at I already knew lip syncing exists. I already knew your performance exists at varying degrees and at varying levels of whatever you need technically. I get that, but it's fucking Coachella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be one of the most memorable points in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And this man
a
got
highlight.
up there and shimmied.
But you know what? Listen, the thing about all that, you remember it though.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
God.
in a way, his finesse worked on you.
Right? But
Damn. That's
I will remember that moment for my life. For a lifetime.
for the
And
wrong
I
reason.
promise you, I will never go to another J Balvin show. Ever.
Damn.
Ever.
Damn. Watch him hit you up
Period.
and be like, yo, you want to work on a track?
Hey, that's a different story.
All of a
That's
sudden,
a finesse.
all of a sudden, then he
Okay.
hears this.
Yes.
Then
And I
he's
will
like,
gladly
hey,
show
I'm
him
doing
this.
Coachella. And
Get
I'm
at me,
headlining
J
it.
Balvin. Let's talk about
You know what's
it.
funny is that Rosalia also came out during that performance.
Yeah.
And it was, I saw a clip of it because I missed it during the live stream. But she was obviously like, they were both dancing to the track. But her voice was coming out. And there were a few times where she like put the mic up to her face. But I think she forgot that she didn't have to sing. Because she would like put the mic up to her face and then just be like, oh yeah. Like, and then just keep dancing. And her voice, like nothing changed. Like
Right.
there wasn't even like her singing over her voice or anything like that. It was literally the mic was just not even on.
Yeah.
At that
Crazy.
point, it was just like, why even hold it?
But that's real.
Because she made the appearance.
You know what's interesting, though? Oh, no, go ahead. You want to say
Well,
something?
no, I was going to say, because again, it's like, yes, that's especially when you watch it on a live stream, it can be viewed, it's hard for us to really get it because we see all the different, like, oh, wow, you're really not seeing it at all. Like, we see all the different details. But for people there, they just want to have a good time.
Yep.
True.
That's why they're not even tripping at all.
True.
They're like,
Oh,
cool,
no.
my favorite song. And then the person's at least on stage. You don't got to be singing. But the person's on stage and I can see you. Oh, it's an amazing show.
They're,
You know-
they're
Now-
tripping.
Yeah,
That's why they don't
exactly.
care.
Yeah.
Because they are
Very much
literally
so.
tripping.
Very, very much so. What's interesting, though, is it's like, I could be mad about the artistry of it, right? But ultimately, live performance has gone through this anyway. It started as a pantomime experience.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's not to say that being on stage and performing it live has always been the pinnacle of the craft, right? It literally started as something to be lip synced and just pantomimed.
Yeah.
And to be just kind of like a realization of something that was already recorded, but nothing super dramatic. So it's always been this, right? But then you're exposed to the actual performance, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Why am I paying for the same? Like, why? Why?
Yeah.
How
You're paying
can
for
those?
what you're listening to on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if his DJ didn't even have like something on his laptop.
Yeah.
He just had Spotify pulled up. He wasn't even fucking with Serato or anything like that. He's just like,
Hit play. And we good.
Say, hey, bro, I put the crossfader on, bro.
Yeah, exactly. we
All
good.
you need. But it's a shame
Oh, my
because you
God.
have iconic acts. Like, so one of the strongest performances of that night.
Oh, yeah.
That I thought was Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish
100%.
blew it out of the water.
She blew it out of the water. And, so if you just think sonically, honestly, sonically, she was on point.
Yeah.
Too. Like I had there was nothing wrong.
She was
with
actually singing.
She was singing.
it. She was actually singing, and it's crazy how rare. Like it just made it more apparent how rare that actually is.
Yeah.
Like the fact that somebody can go on stage beyond point and deliver a performance as far as energy, as far as sonically, as far like just lights the whole visuals of it and actually kill it. That's a rare skill.
Yeah,
True.
agreed.
That's a really rare skill.
Very
So
rare
I mean,
skill.
you just you as somebody on the smaller end of things, or like starting up, you look at that and you're like, oh gosh, that's the normal. Like that's not actually the normal, which is crazy. It should. I personally would like it to be the normal.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not.
But this also goes back to like, since J Balvin is mainly like a producer. I wouldn't even consider him a singer-songwriter.
Right.
He's more of a producer who also sings, and I imagine that his live voice is not that great
At all.
at all.
At all.
You know,
and that
not
would
to-
detract from the performance.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
for him. For his genre, I feel
Yeah.
like that it would actually detract from it, which makes sense as to why that's the setup that he has.
Yeah.
It's just, it's kind of, it takes you aback when you're there and you're I don't know.
Man, we're way past the era of performers.
Right.
I mean, if you think about performers, you're talking like late 60s, right? I mean, not even really early 60s. Like, well, actually, no. Like,
I'm thinking early now. I'm thinking like Broadway, like Gene Kelly.
Yeah.
Like
of like real
actual performers. Like,
yeah. Barbara Streisand's, Judy Garland's.
And it's not, but the thing is, those even existed concurrently with the pantomime performers.
The pantomime performances were only done for television, though. And they were only done for television because we didn't have the equipment to record something live like that on television.
All right.
And on
Facts.
that's
So, yeah.
and that's really how it started, because like they were doing it up until like the late 70s. We didn't. Yeah.
I guess that's why I'm so frustrated. It's because they were limited by the technology.
Yeah.
But we're not.
No.
So
No, we're not.
We're not at
And
all.
that's the difference, though, is that they were actual performers and they were pissed that they had to pantomime the music because
Right.
they're like, we want to perform the music, But now we're in this weird space where, like, we have all these producers who aren't necessarily good performers
Right.
getting really popular. And
Really
now they're
quickly.
asked to perform on stage.
Yeah.
Really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say like that's a huge learning curve for a lot of producers
Yeah.
though, too. Because it's like, oh, you're gonna go up there and rap, you're gonna go up there and DJ, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
'Cause people want to see you live.
Yeah.
So
For real.
again, that's probably even a learning experience for him too.
True.
Probably.
So he's like, cool, I gotta make it work. I'm gonna have my little people run across stage in their little costumes, and that's
Yeah.
my show.
I'm going to walk away with nothing.
So
It's crazy though. Just how far we've come. So it's interesting that they both can exist in this kind of time. You
Yeah.
can have the Billie Eilish, and you can have the J Balvin, and they're both successful.
Yeah.
exactly. But
See,
also,
that-
I think that's okay.
I was just gonna say, I feel like between like the 80s and like maybe like mid to late 90s is where we had like real performers in all aspects, where they had to perform
Right.
every time.
Right. That's
You
why
had
Milli
to,
Vanilli,
yeah.
was it Milli Vanilli? That got like
Yeah.
sacked for lip syncing.
For lip syncing,
Like
yeah.
their entire career just
Yeah.
crumbled because they were lip syncing.
But just like the Queen, Billy Joel's, Elton John's of
Right.
the world, like none of that shit is fake ever.
Ever. It's always demanded they perform that.
Yeah.
And they've had the ability,
Yeah.
So maybe it's a genre thing. Maybe because we have more genres that,
True.
because
Yeah.
if you think about it, even though Billy and J Balvin are technically they're both pop,
Yeah.
but they're different markets.
Yeah.
They are different markets. It's not to say that all Latin music or anything like that, but
No.
like they're different. J Balvin is closer to the rap market or the hip hop market
Yeah.
than he would be the pop market.
True.
I think, like hip hop and Latin, right? And the other thing that I noticed about that, like even when Wiz Khalifa was on stage, it was that similar kind of piss me off energy.
Yeah.
For me personally, because Wiz had the grandest, displays of lights and energy and charisma outside of him. But then you get to Wiz, and you've got the track going behind him, blaring loud, and he's just on stage,
Yeah.
walking around, chilling. Let's go. black and yellow.
I feel you though, and it's interesting that you say genre. It's interesting because like Billie Eilish, for example, I feel like she is very crossover genre.
She is.
She has
Absolutely.
like music that's kind of poppy, music that's hip hop. She's also got music that's slightly folky. You know what I mean? And it's really interesting to put all those elements together. You need something that is more, how do I want to say, easily moldable, I guess. You know, something that you can go on stage and change the aspect of the track or said track or whatever you're performing like immediately.
Yeah.
You know, there were a lot of things that she had in her show that were very time based.
Yeah.
Which you can really only do really well with a band.
True.
I mean, you can do it with, you know, equipment and like software and all that stuff, but you don't have that same sort of impressive flair when it comes to it, you know, when you're on a click track or whatever.
And it's interesting to know that her band was only
Two
the
people.
drummer. Yeah, it was the drummer and her brother.
Yeah.
Phineas, who was handling guitar, bass, keys, synths,
And DJ.
and DJ
At the same time.
about everything. But you know, they put on an incredible performance.
Yeah.
It just shows you don't need. Well, I mean, he did a lot.
Yeah.
But you don't need a lot of people to deliver
Do something
an incredible
great.
performance.
Yeah. That's like bands like Tame Impala was the headliner for all of Coachella. And they perform everything live.
Yeah,
Yep.
None of
and
that
you
is-
could
Exactly.
and they had one of the best performances that I saw.
Yeah.
Period. Like the visuals, sonics, everything.
Yeah.
I was so like I wish I was there. Like that's
Yeah.
what I want. And it makes sense. He's a headliner. I'm glad that at least the headliners can do that.
I feel like they do a good job of curating it so every, you know, demographic and
Yeah.
True.
different genres are highlighted.
Very
Right, because
true.
Tame Impala's not necessarily turn up.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
You know, some people need to just shut down, just shut out,
Chill.
and just chill.
Yeah.
So I get it. There's a place for everything.
Yeah.
Still pisses me off.
That's true.
Oh yeah. But speaking of being pissed off, you actually brought up a good topic here. The Notre Dame building.
Yeah.
That recently burned. Let's talk about that. What happened?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it burned down, obviously.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, hundreds of years of history that was
Yeah.
lost. To me, it's just interesting how right after it burned down, everyone was so quick to rescue the building and were so eager to donate hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, when you say everyone, though, what do you mean?
So there were certain billionaires who were literally like 3 families, I believe, they all donated
Damn.
over 500 million euros.
Euros.
Holy shit.
Not dollars, euros. So, and again,
fair.
not to be a
Not-
hypocrite because I was talking about counting other people's money. For me, it's still just interesting. It's just interesting to see, I guess, where people throw their money to, depending on the cause.
Right.
And for me, again, I understand the historical side of it. For me, it's just fascinating to also be aware of how many different people can be saved or different things can be cured, just even with medicine that we currently have with less than that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
just fascinating just to see how quick we were able to just throw money at that. So
I agree.
well, certain people, not
Right.
me.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
dime.
cool.
Not that I
Yeah.
don't want to, but I didn't even know what happened until I heard about it being taken care of,
Yeah.
24 hours later. But more importantly, like, for me, when I heard about that, I was just like, that's so sus. Like,
Yeah.
not the actual building, but the fact that these 3 or 4, who are the main benefactors of that being saved, were able to act so quickly and did act so quickly means that they have something invested in that space or invested in that building being protected. I don't know what, but that's sus. You don't become a billionaire by spending billions, right? You don't
Yeah.
become a billionaire by spending millions. But the fact that they were just so readily available to just drop that, like even there are so many buildings that have fallen. World Trade Center, for example, has fallen.
Yeah.
You didn't see any billionaires coming out the gates like, oh, we need to fix this immediately. They're like, no, we'll take our time, we'll rebuild properly. But when you have something fall that quick and be taken care of that quick, that's
Yeah, I feel like the
scary.
historical aspect of it probably is what gave it more context, at least
Yeah.
in that.
I
Maybe.
get it. It's
Just
an
'cause
old
it's
building.
been around, I believe, like over 800 years.
It's been around
Right.
for a long time.
You know,
It's been around for a long
the
time.
other thing too, which I found like really interesting, is that because it's such an old building, there's no way to really ensure that because you can't get back such a historical,
value.
Valuable location and, whatever it was built with, however it was built. Like, nobody's building shit like that anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the building itself wasn't even insured. So the French government is actually liable for paying for that. So I don't know who these families are. Did they name themselves?
Yeah, I don't know.
Were they
There's
But it's like also like Apple's even contributing now. Like there's a
Really?
few. There's a lot of different people contributing.
But that's why I'm
For
like,
me, it's just interesting.
that's
I feel
interesting.
Like that's clout, though.
It's clout,
Is
but
it
at the
for
same
look?
time, it's also very specific. If
Yeah.
you have that many key important families, key important companies, Apple's $1 trillion company,
Yeah.
saving a building, that's something I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Like, but that is something to just pay attention to.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not something I can just look and be like, oh wow. When there are so many other problems we could solve by them doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And they decided to save a building, there's a very specific reason.
Especially
they
when
did
people already said they got it covered, though, too.
Exactly.
That's why it's also
Yeah.
like, oh, they got it. They've already raised
that.
$700.
But no, we need to make sure. We need to make sure this building. Just I don't know how I feel about. I mean, I get it. It's a valuable building. It's
Apple's like, yo, put our logo there, though.
Yeah, right.
important. Some people were saying turning into it like an entire art space, and I don't know if I agree with that. To it, like, if I agree in the sense that repurpose it, have it mean something new to the new generation. Like, I get that, but also I appreciate the old for what it is. Like, you don't necessarily have to restore something and change it into something new. Like, just restore it if you want to really, really respect it in that sense. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm not against it. I'm just like, I don't really see why you would go that way. But okay, cool.
Yeah, that's really weird to me, though. That I don't know. We got to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Because that is strange that there's a lot of people like. Because I mean, I get the historical aspect of it, but
That's very.
when
That's a
you
lot
have
of
enough money, like, where is it going at that point? It's just going to the
Exactly.
French government now.
Yeah, but that's so. I'm like, we can't speak on it too much. We
Yeah.
don't need to
Yeah.
knock at the door, but
Just
But-
an interesting note.
just an interesting.
Something to keep in mind. Like, oh, good to
thing.
know. Shout out to people.
Shout out to people. So what else happened? Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones
premiered.
Yo.
So, Game of Thrones episode 2 just dropped. We're not gonna give you any spoilers. Like, nah, we can't do that.
No.
But let's talk about episode 1. Now that episode 2's dropped, how do you feel about the ending?
All right. Okay. So
So,
I gotta
spoiler
lie.
alert: if you haven't seen episode 1, don't listen to this
Yeah,
section.
just
Skip to
turn
the
it
next part.
down. Turn it down.
But
They tied up all the loose ends, basically, from the last season. And I don't know if I remember correctly. I feel like we might have noticed this, Najee, when we were binge watching it, because you weren't here yet, Monty, but we were binge watching it last year in like December, January.
Yep.
And I feel like, was it the second to last episode was always the craziest episode?
Yep.
And then the last one was like tying everything together
Yeah.
for the next season.
Yeah. Because if you
Yeah.
think about Red Wedding happened, I think that was the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next one was like, oh shit, okay, got you.
Yeah.
So they tend to have that happen.
Yeah. But so it was interesting because like, how did last season end
Last season ended.
on the cliffhanger?
It did,
Yeah.
which was different. That was a new thing
Yeah.
because it ended with the ice dragon died.
Yep.
And it was flying like they
And
just
it
like
burned down
taking
the
out the
hole.
wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like so the Night King was coming down.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
they were like rolling deep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Rolling deep.
They were.
If that's a rolling
Hey,
deep.
you know?
True. They were there. They were ready. They were marching. But yeah, that was last season.
Yeah.
The season
Yeah.
before that, I don't remember what happened on the finale, but typically they've always been like that penultimate episode was like the big ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, this time when they opened the season, the first episode, right? The ending of this episode, because it's a lot faster paced because it's only 6 episodes, right? Which is disheartening, but I get it.
I mean, every episode is like $15 million. So
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, there's a
know,
lot that goes into
that's
it,
a
but
lot.
also, it also makes me sad because it's like there's only 45 minutes of content for $15 million. Like, ow. But also, I just want more. Like, as a consumer, I want to be able to just sit there and thoroughly enjoy like a solid hour and a half. It's been 2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Season 7. 45 minutes and you end it like that. I'm not going to say what the ending is because I don't want to spoil it entirely.
Yeah.
But what?
If you think about it, though, the majority of the episode is almost a mirror of that first episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it
you
is.
got Jon. No, I don't want to.
Well, we know who Jon Snow is.
Yeah, we got Jon and Daenerys.
Right.
You know,
right. That's all we can say.
That's it.
Yeah, we're like censoring ourselves.
That, you know, there's a scene down in the crypt, and a lot of that happened in that first episode.
Yep.
A lot of that stuff.
Paying homage, and then also just really tying the full story back together.
Yeah.
So it's not that it was bad. It was not bad by any means. I just wanted more.
Just wanted
Yeah.
more.
Just wanted more.
So let me ask you guys this.
Yo.
So if it was combined, let's say 2 episodes in one, so it was only 3 episodes instead of 6, would you like that more?
Ooh.
Yeah. See, or would you want it more broken down into 6?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, because if you think about how Sherlock operates, Sherlock is only 3 or 4 episodes per season. And they're all an hour and a half each. And I enjoy that. So I'm not actually opposed to the idea if I think about it. Honestly, like, it's not a bad idea, but I also just want more episodes in general.
Yeah.
Well, no,
See,
that's it. That's what I'm
the
saying.
problem.
If there was only 3 more episodes,
That would make me sad.
Yeah.
So
that would
if
make
the-
everyone like.
That's-
even though it's
that'd be a
already
huge
sad
problem.
in general,
Yeah.
but it's just
No, in this case, no. I don't think that would make sense. But in general, if they were kind of arranged like that, because Sherlock feels like every episode's a movie. It's literally the movie length. They're an hour and a half each.
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones, if they did that, from early on, maybe. But now, no. I need more episodes. You already committed. You can't.
Yeah, see, like, that's the weird thing is, like, the last 2 seasons, they've been like, this one's like 7. That one's going to be 6, though, and that's the last one. That's all you're ever going to
Yep.
get. Like, I'm not just like, yeah.
They definitely decided that.
And it's moving fast.
It's moving
It's moving real fast.
That's why I'm so upset.
So I don't know
It's
how-
so fast, but I still want more.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Like, how's it going to end? Well,
Well, I mean, if you read the book, you probably know how it's going to end.
but it's different than the
Oh,
book.
wait, no. That's right, because they have alternate from the
Yeah.
book. It's like Walking Dead, the
Yeah.
comic version versus the actual
show.
thing. 2 different directions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But, to tie it back into the whole industry side of things, even though we're excited, even SZA, Weeknd, and Travis Scott are equally as excited. They actually dropped...
Did you listen to that song?
I have not listened to the song
Did
yet.
you listen to that song?
I did.
It's awful. That song is so trash. It's the worst song I've ever heard in my life. Like, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. It starts off with The Weeknd, all right, being The Weeknd, and then he said, I was born of ice and snow, and I'm just like, dog, it's too cheesy.
Like,
It's too
I was
cheesy.
So
And then he says, put a knife through my heart. I'm going to live on. Power is power.
So
my God.
for me, the way that I view this, because for me, the first thing I did was look at some of the credits. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always curious to see
Yeah.
who's involved. So obviously, all their labels are involved.
Yeah.
But also HBO is involved.
Game of Thrones is on there.
Exactly. So it's
As a
like
feature.
I think it's more of a publicity. Yeah, exactly. I think it's more of a publicity because of how well the Black Panther album did, in my opinion. So I think because of how well that was received and how much of an impact that did for just the film as well, like
Yeah.
the additional marketing thing, I think they were trying to ride high on this as well. Just like, hey,
Yeah.
let's put out a single with Travis, SZA, and The Weeknd. Hopefully, it'll get people more interested in Game of Thrones. Now, that was a stretch. Like, I don't think we needed that. Like,
Nah.
I'm
Nah.
cool because, and again, to each his own. Maybe they're all huge fans of Game of Thrones. Maybe like, you know what, I want to talk about Fire and Ice.
Yeah, you
Like-
can be a huge fan of Game of Thrones.
As we are.
That's great. That's amazing. But I'm going to say something that might be slightly racist here.
Oh, really?
And I don't mean it in a negative way.
What? Racism never?
Right?
That's always,
Okay.
There's always a but. Go ahead.
I'm gonna put myself out here when I say this. So if people are gonna shit on me, like, I don't know, these are my words. But anyway, I just feel like it was a boardroom of a lot of old white men thinking that this was a good idea. And they didn't even, I don't even feel like these artists, yeah, they were probably consulted, but it's more like, yo, do this because we're the label and we want you to do this.
And also probably got
You know what I mean? So, and when you were talking about the Black Panther, that thing is, the reason that album is incredible is because it's culturally relevant.
Of course.
Thematically
Of course.
relevant.
Yes.
But my thing is, you got to understand, a lot of businesses, not everyone use it that way.
Exactly.
They're just like, wait a minute, we saw this work for them.
Yeah.
Maybe it could work for me. So let's
Yeah.
copy the exact same formula.
I just don't understand why they picked an all black cast of artists to make a song
For Game of Thrones.
for Game of Thrones, which is an all white cast of
Nordic
actors, like Nordic actors. And it doesn't
that's
make
real.
any sense.
That's real.
And I'm not trying to be like, we can't mix or anything like that.
Right,
but
right.
the cultural understanding of black people is very different than the cultural understanding of Nordic white people who live in the north,
Yeah.
like
And
far
then-
north.
And in
They
the
know
world of
nothing,
Game
Jon
of
Snow.
Thrones.
And in the world of Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
which we can potentially believe that it might be like old England.
So, so I guess the question is, if you could pick different artists for the song, who
Yeah.
would you pick?
Literally anybody else, first off. But no.
True. Because I heard Travis Scott go, yeah.
You're like, God damn it. No.
This is not Game of Thrones. I'm not trying to be racist, but it just doesn't fit.
But it doesn't fit. I agree. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like bringing out, like a Japanese pop artist to a Metallica concert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just. I'm
Like,
sorry.
it's like,
It just doesn't. It just doesn't fit.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't.
It's not for
fit,
the audience.
though. It just isn't.
So who would you pick?
Hans Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Anybody who's thematically orchestral.
Yes.
But if we're just talking like straight pop artists, right? Even if we just stick to pop, rock, indie, alternative, even bedroom pop, right? Even if we stick with that, I would choose somebody like Lorde, wherever she is.
Lord
Right.
would have been dope.
She would have killed it. Yeah.
Billie Eilish would have been
Billie
dope.
would've
depending.
No, because she would have added that. She would have added that like mysterious, like what the fuck is
True.
happening?
I think more emotional Billy, not poppy Billy, like not like
Yes.
You can see me in a crown.
Yeah.
Billy. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
like Ocean Eyes. Billy.
I mean,
like,
even that song would have been slightly cheesy, but better than this one.
yes, yes. Like what's the one song where Billy's like crying and she's got like the stuff.
Zanny? Is it Zanny?
I don't know the name of the song.
You know what I'm talking about though,
Yeah,
where she's like sitting in the chair and she's just got like the black ink falling out of her.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that would have been perfect. That
Yeah.
Billy,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
100% would have made sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else would be on there. Who would you pick, Monty?
This group, I've been following. They're kind of upcoming. This group called Tuxedo.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I feel you.
I think they could have definitely created something with it.
Yeah.
But they're, not everybody know about them yet.
Hey,
So,
Soon.
yeah. Dang, bro, why you laughing so hard? Golly.
shit.
Soon.
But yeah, so again, I'm just restating. I'm not racist. I just
clear it
feel
up,
like it
clear
was
it
a
up.
bad
It was
decision.
just a bad move.
It was just a very bad move that didn't culturally make sense.
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't this place. It
And I
wasn't-
also expected them to like, if you're gonna feature Game of Thrones, like use some of the music from Game of
Characters.
Thrones. You know what I mean?
Something,
Like,
allow them to sample it or
Yeah,
something. Like,
sample
even
that
flip
shit.
It,
They
something.
didn't sample it at all.
Instead, it sounded like a song that should have belonged on the Black Panther album. I mean, the whole beat was just very Black Panther-esque.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it was also kind of forced.
It was very
was very
forced.
forced.
Yeah.
The lyrics were awful.
Purely
Yeah.
contrived.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
I mean, but speaking of marketing, I think it's kind of interesting trying different forms of marketing.
Yeah.
So recently we kind of experimented with Spotify ads.
Oh.
They started a whole new, it's like a whole new campaign recently.
Wait. Spotify ads in what sense? Because there's been Spotify ads.
Right.
So Spotify audio ads.
Yeah, audio
Gotcha.
ads. So pretty much they opened it up as well for artists to literally put their ads up on the free tier, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not free. Don't get me
well,
wrong.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
right.
free. You know, you
It's
gotta-
an ad.
you know, cut the check.
Free tier
you know?
doesn't mean.
Yeah, exactly. Cut the check to then reach the free tier. So
Yeah.
we did an experiment just to try to get people looped in and see what would happen. So there's a few limitations, not to get too technical, I guess. It's just like, you can only, target just one particular country. You can't target per city, all these different type of things.
You can target per city,
but only in the
only
same
in the
country,
same
which
country.
is
So
like,
it was,
all right.
Yeah, it was only limited to, you can only choose one country and then target cities within that country. Which,
Per ad?
Per ad.
Per ad.
Interesting.
Very.
Yeah, you cannot choose multiple countries. You can choose cities that were outside of that country.
Correct.
So like you
Interesting.
couldn't target like LA and London, for example, or even LA and Toronto. You couldn't do that.
You'd have to target the U.S., L.A., UK, and London for a different ad.
Correct.
For each different ads.
Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
so
really weird.
It was very
That's
weird.
clunky.
But so anyway, we ran a little test, and you have some more thoughts on the. Oh, well, I mean, just the stats in general, just to break it all down.
They were not hitting for me. So we tried. I just wanted to experiment and see what the mass approach would do.
Yeah.
Just market it. Because if you
Never
think about
do
it, Spotify is already its own niche market, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're running it out on Spotify, it's not like running it out on TV.
Right.
Spotify has a very specific purpose, specific intent. It's not really, it's music. Like music listeners, music engagers, right? So I thought, all right, let's try and run the ad with the minimum budget and see what sticks. Just throw it out there to every Spotify user we can that we can target in the US, right? That are, we can actually target. And we'll see what happens. And then we did.
And the results were amazing. We learned so much from this experiment. Number one, know your audience.
Know your audience.
Whenever you're investing in marketing, use the data that you have to your advantage and target your audience. Because if you try to just blast everybody, it reaches nobody.
It really.
Literally nobody. So after 10,000 people actually listening to the ad,
Yeah.
10,000.
10,000.
Damn.
Because we stopped it at a certain point. I was like, oh no, forget this. We good. After 10,000 people heard it, only I think 6 people
Holy shit.
actually
Converted.
clicked. And then I think only one.
2 people converted.
2. Yeah.
To listening to my song.
Out of 10,000. So that's what a blast does. And that was like roughly like 123.
23.
Yeah.
Dollars.
So, dollars.
Okay. Wait, that was 100. What?
$123 got you about 10,000
Okay.
people, and that's just with the range
US.
in the
All right,
US,
all right.
just with the blast, and the conversion was only technically 2 people
All right.
From 10,000.
from
Here's-
10,000.
How long did it take to reach 10,000? Like an hour?
No, that was over probably 3 days.
3 days?
3 days.
Were they just intermittently throwing your stuff in?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know
We have no
how
idea.
the
Yeah.
ads are being run. We don't know even some of
How
the
they're being
details
delivered.
with the exactly.
We don't know what time.
Well, we know what's
Well,
being delivered because we,
Right.
Yeah, if you know,
We know that
we
what-
can
so-
control. Yeah.
Of course. So I made an ad, like I made an audio ad for it. I know exactly what was being delivered. It was a 30-second ad, right? We don't know
Hilarious
when, however.
We'll share it later.
We'll play it. We'll play it on the thing. We'll give it some space to play. So actually, here's the ad. My name's Najee, and I do a lot. Admittedly, that is a cop-out, but in this day and age, a cop-out is a form of flex. And sometimes a flex is necessary. It's a concept even your third-grade teacher is well acquainted with. What do you think Video Day was for? Go ahead, think about it.
Watching a movie.
Anyways, this is not an ad. This is advice. So, flex solution number 1. Listen to my album, Misfit. And that, in and of itself, provides the greatest flex of all. You're welcome. Right. So that's the ad. And I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining.
So good.
So we ran that, but the thing is, they don't tell. Sorry.
I'm dying. You're just like, I think it's good.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay.
very, very Geico-esque, very,
very Najee.
Najee
yes, very Najee.
Yeah, inspired. But we don't know when it's running. We don't know who it's running by. We just know it was just a general overview of Spotify users, right? Or Spotify free users. We don't know what time it is in which part of the country, because all we know is that it was being targeted to specific cities.
Right.
But it's also their surrounding areas. It's also the surrounding cities. So it's very, very vague as far as like specifically what it's targeting, when it's targeting, and how it's targeting it, which is kind of important to know if you're running an ad specifically trying to target people.
So with that said, hey Spotify, let us know if you need some help beta testing. Yo, we got you. Because there's just a few different data points.
Need some tweaks.
Yeah, that's all.
Tweaks.
But overall, it was a great experiment because we learned so much from it, and we're not going to use it anytime soon. Nope. It was good though. It was
good trial.
Again, it's like if we were to ever explore it after they make their different tweaks, it's like now pinpointing on specifically, because there was different things that we forgot to mention. Like you can target based on either a playlist, or a genre, or based on other artists, which is interesting. But that's it, or just everybody.
See, I feel like when it comes to advertising for music, you have to treat it so differently because like music is cool. You know what I mean? Music is like real cool. It's not like a movie.
Right.
It's not like a podcast, which I feel like would be a lot easier to advertise for.
Right.
Because there's more
words.
Content.
Go listen to more words.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what I mean? And you can turn it into anything.
Yep.
But with the music, it's really hard to advertise music unless you're going for like a specific sort of brand, especially when it comes to an audio advertisement. Because it's like you'd want to just play the song and somebody be like, oh shit, that sounds dope. But instead you gotta be like,
you gotta be creative.
You gotta be creative. And be like, now go listen to my song.
Please.
Hey, never hurts to ask.
It's true.
And also just to experiment though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Trying something different when something's Najified. Who knows?
Yeah. True. Yeah.
So, we've only tried the Spotify market. That's not to say that we can't try that anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
See what does it say.
Yeah.
Also got my low-key vocal talent back. Just trying to see what's up.
Voiceover.
Voiceover, vocal talent. I'm available. But yeah.
I thought it was good.
No, but it is interesting that you were mentioning even just podcasting. Because it's like, I feel like a lot of, again, we all know, the industry is really transitioning into podcasting. It's a growing business market.
Yeah.
I mean, Spotify, again,
Yeah.
they're back at it. So they just recently purchased Gimlet. Which has been one of the top, if not the top, podcast producer currently out. Like that just exists. So I think they produce a lot of the key with like I don't know if do they do Serial?
No, I think that's NPR.
NPR is Serial, right? What was the they had a few different ones.
They had a lot, and a lot of them were like true. Some were true crime.
I'm gonna look at it right now.
They had Motherhood Sessions, Conviction. They had Homecoming. A lot of them were like more story based than anything.
Yeah,
like
they're
that.
very story based. So Crime Town, Mystery Show, Reply All,
The Pitch.
Startup. If you know podcasts, you know of these. These are really, really popular. And if you don't, go check them out. Those are dope podcasts. But they are the top podcast producer, and they produce podcasts of high quality. So it's not like just we kind of produce this one to sound kind of like it's like a radio show.
Yeah.
And really close to the mic, really personal. But those are very carefully curated, scripted, and intentionally like edited, like heavily edited.
True.
And they're high quality. They're very high quality. So Spotify just bought them.
Right. Outright.
And just straight up bought them. And then started creating podcast studios within their offices. And the difference between a podcast studio and, a music studio is that podcasts, everything typically, even in music, you need a very quiet space, but it depends on the kind of music you're making. In the music space, you could have a very reverberated room, and that's desired. Like you could have a huge room built for choirs, bands, that kind of thing. That makes sense. But for podcasts, you need something dead. You need something quiet, super, super quiet, and tiny. You don't need something huge. You need a table and mics, and things that make you feel comfortable at a table with mics. And that's really about it. And obviously processing equipment. So they're very, very streamlined, and they're very affordable to build as opposed to a music studio. So they've been building a lot more of those out just to meet the demand of podcasts, which are actually rising. Because if you the DIY market, or the DIY content creation, which is what a podcast is DIY, is increasing. It's but specifically podcasts, we're seeing a rise of those. And Spotify's trying to pay attention to it, and they're building out their studios with it. I'm not sure if they're giving access to just Gimlet, or if it's going to be open to the public. But that'd be interesting if it was.
It's a nice question to ask, though, just to find out. But it is very fascinating to see how many different players are also hopping into the ball, like into this whole thing. Because like Universal Music Group partnered up with a firm, like a podcast firm, Wondery.
I have not heard of it.
Yeah, well, they're creating like original content, which I think is fascinating because it's like even labels now are trying to pay attention because everyone's trying to tap into the audio market. It's no longer just music; it's just audio. Because that's the reason why Spotify's been really trying to position themselves. Before labels kind of are aware of that, because typically they're behind. But
I'm excited because we talked about this idea. Like I said, last year. It was last year. We had this specific. I'm not even going to say it because I don't want anybody to take this idea.
but it was a good idea.
Yeah. But I wonder if original content could fall into that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything's going audio.
Cool.
But yeah, especially with Gimlet. I mean, we personally really rock with Gimlet too. We earlier in the year, I think it was last year, Squarespace had a competition with Gimlet about the next great podcast, and we submitted. Funnily enough, we submitted the 1,000 Story Podcast, and it got an honorable mention. It was actually on the show as an honorable mention, which is nice.
I'm saying nice, like like I didn't even know like this. I'm not a part of this.
It's cool. You forgot about it.
Yeah, it's dope.
But it's dope.
Oh my god!
But it's interesting to see how many other companies are becoming more involved, because Squarespace wasn't in the podcast. Well, they were in the sense of they were helping podcasters design websites.
Yes.
But that's a new partnership.
Yes.
That just happened. Squarespace just came into that game. But it's just cool to see that it's actually becoming it was already legitimate, but like a really. People are companies are paying attention to podcasts and original audio content.
Yep.
So we're going to see a lot more of that. And I'm curious to see what that's going to do with Spotify and Gimlet being now the same company. Are they going to partner with Squarespace? Are they like, how does that whole...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like we should send some emails.
We will send strongly worded emails.
Yes.
To our producer friends and, creator friends over at Gimlet. Anyway, or it's Spotify now. Or are they still? Or is Spotify just the parent company?
Spinlet.
Or I don't know what the structure is, but I guess maybe they're taking over the name too, or maybe Gimlet will keep the name. I think
they'll keep the name because I feel like Spotify's going to be like an umbrella for them.
It's like an alphabet for Google.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
What else is going on in the internet realm?
I mean, the industry. Oh, yep.
Bandcamp. Wait. Do you want to talk about Bandcamp, or do you want to talk about? There was another thing we had.
Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Bandcamp?
Yeah.
All right, so let's
Bandcamp now is getting into vinyl, which is
dope.
interesting. I mean, it's smart.
It's
very smart. It's about time, actually.
It really is. Because if you think about how many people have partnered or have advertised their EPs, their LPs, and their vinyls on Bandcamp.
Strictly on Bandcamp, yeah.
And then, or redirected to other vinyl services.
It makes sense, though, because it's like they've always been like a paid service.
Exactly.
You have to buy the album.
Yep.
So it makes sense for them to move into a physical
Not necessarily true. You didn't always have to buy it. You did have to originally they didn't even have the email part. You could just pay what you want. Which is zero. True. You could also choose to pay zero.
Which I think is still an option.
Yeah, it still is. But you now have to, for the zero ones, you have to give your email address, I believe. Which, again, it's just going towards the artist. That's
Yeah,
literally
that's the
looking out
reason
for the
nothing wrong
artist.
with that, yeah.
So you can have your newsletters, you can have updates, that kind of thing. I get it. But they've always been really indie and DIY centric.
Man, I support Bandcamp so much. Like, they've been around for so long.
Yes.
And been able to really cement themselves regardless of what's going on in the rest of the industry and the streaming era and all that, because they've also tried to adapt to streaming as well as downloads. But even their whole business structure is also fascinating because a lot of their team actually works remotely. That's why a lot of the different decisions that they're making now is very different, because typically people are spread out throughout the world that all work on Bandcamp. Yeah, so it's a very different type of system that they have. But they opened up a location in San Francisco, which is like a vinyl store. So this whole move makes a lot more sense now.
Oh, so they have a physical, like,
yeah,
brick
they
and mortar.
actually got their very first physical store, but it's actually meant to be like a more of like a space, so people can go there to perform, and you can go there and buy select vinyl they select. I think it's like I think they curate like 20 different releases into vinyl every month or something like that. But
That's a bit.
Yeah.
Small pressings, I imagine, though.
Yeah, I'm assuming for those. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Limited
now that
press.
this will be a part of it, it's like that opens up the whole floodgate, because obviously people have trusted Bandcamp for years.
Yeah.
So it just makes the process a lot easier. It's like, cool, you guys can do vinyl now? Perfect. Like, I'm already been using for my distro anyway.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, for me, I'm curious to see how it goes, because I think they're doing the more of a like, I guess, a crowdfunding type of process with it, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like once you reach the amount in the goal, then they go out and press it, which I still think is a very smart process anyway.
It's very, very
no
smart.
one's wasting money.
Yeah.
Or time.
At all. And they're not losing money by having the service that goes somewhere else. 'Cause
Exactly.
Like I said, traditionally, if you were to buy vinyl on Bandcamp, you'd always have to go to another store.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like you buy
Because it was for the artist.
Yeah, and it redirects to another store. Although they recently started rolling out so you could buy the vinyl as merch,
Yep,
but not specifically as vinyl.
Yep. But then that would still be up to the artist to go out and handle and figure out.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they'll handle all the shipping, all that, all the logistics. So I was like, wow.
That's nice.
Yeah.
They're full distro and assembly, which is nice.
And I love it. It's change. See,
Well
they're
done,
actually, shout out to Ben.
Y'all
Yeah.
give applause. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Ben. Yeah.
Good move.
So the other thing I want to touch on
Yes.
is Amazon. They haven't really done like any marketing for Amazon Music at all. Most of the time we just, I don't know
That's
about
true.
you, like most of the time we just, figure it out or see it on Amazon Prime when we go to Amazon. But other than that, they've never really marketed it, but they're about to soon. So they're opening up pretty much a free tier. So now when I say free tier, like people can listen to it at least
With ads.
with ads,
Yeah.
Right.
Via their Alexa.
Interesting.
So that's the game they're trying to play.
Interesting.
So because of that move,
Yeah.
now Google also copied the same move. So now YouTube Music will be the go-to one for all Google devices.
Interesting.
So now
'Cause they just
everyone-
closed down. YouTube just closed down Google Play.
Yep.
Well,
So
I
now
didn't even know
everyone's
that.
going to start playing that game of, who really controls the market. Because guess what? Everyone's been buying these different Alexas and Google Homes.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's really controlling the music?
Oh.
Yeah. So the only thing when it
interesting.
comes to at least YouTube Music, one thing I did read is just like a technical. It's like it doesn't work. So you can't just say, "Hey, play this song." It doesn't work that way. It'll
Yeah.
play something similar, but unless you pay for the subscription, then it'll play. So that's the way YouTube's trying to finesse. But anyway,
Yeah, because like I remember us talking about Amazon Music being like pretty big,
it's huge,
right? Like people use it a lot.
No.
Okay.
Well, I would say they're technically like third because there's
See,
certain
that's-
people that just use
That's
it.
how I feel because like I never use Amazon Music
Yeah.
ever, and I know I have it.
Yeah.
Because I
Ever.
pay for the Prime subscription.
no, you don't have it with the Prime. Not
No,
necessarily.
Not
separate.
anymore?
No. So
I thought you had it.
No. See, this is where it gets a little confusing. They have
Okay.
different tiers.
Right.
So there is one for Amazon Prime where you can listen to certain ones, and then I think it's Amazon Unlimited.
Right.
Amazon Unlimited gives you unlimited access. Who knew?
Crazy.
Crazy. Geniuses. But yeah, that's essentially how it works. But the other thing is Amazon, unlike other streaming services, Amazon is available everywhere. Just
True.
no one really is aware of that major point though. So except I think like Denmark. I don't know why, but yeah, that's
But
just
they're a
one
global
thing.
company.
But they're a global company, and then so people could, if they wanted to,
Yeah.
stream it in different places, but they've never marketed.
Huh.
So I'm curious to see how this will pan out, and if Alexa users will convert over to Amazon Music. Users.
I mean, obviously, I would think Alexa, by default, the newer ones at least, are going to come out the gate with Amazon Music as the default call for music.
Right,
so when you say play such and such, it's like, oh, you want to play this from Amazon Music or Spotify? Or,
Exactly.
But besides that, because obviously people are going to have their own preferences, they're going to have accounts with whatever music services they have. What do you think the play is to get people to convert over to that? Because people have reputations to build. Like Spotify and Apple already have a reputation for being music services. Amazon is known for buying shit and books. you know?
Yeah. The way that I view it, I feel like it'll just be easy use. Like if no one has to go through the hassle of setting up anything and it just connects to your Amazon account, they'll go with that.
Yeah.
Most people don't feel like tinkering like us. Like we'll go in and fix it, make sure it works the way we want it to. But some people just want to plug it in and just let it work. So if all you have to do is plug it in and be like, hey, Alexa, play this, and it works.
Yeah.
You don't care if it's coming from Amazon Music.
True. Yeah. Which I think might be their move.
Correct. That's exactly what.
Yeah, I was gonna say because people for example, my dad, he has an Alexa, but he also has Apple Music, and I feel like maybe once he learns, because he's a like a middle-aged cable cutter, cord cutter. What do they call them?
Cord cutters.
Cord cutters. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So,
Anyways, so he's all about trying to save as much as possible on whatever he's using. There are certain people in our generation that are going to be like, yeah, I'll just have the free Alexa tier or whatever on my Alexa, but the majority of the time you're listening to music in your car or out and about, so you'll have Spotify, But I feel like people like him might just be like, okay, if I pay for this service on Alexa, then I can just get it on my phone also, and I don't have to worry about anything. And they'll deal with I don't know. I haven't used Amazon Prime Music or Amazon Music or whatever in a while, so I don't know how clunky it is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I literally don't know. It almost feels as archaic as going back to something like Rhapsody.
Yeah,
it's not archaic, but I've never for example, I've never used Amazon's app for shopping. Yeah, I always just use the website.
See, I use their app for shopping.
I use the app. Yeah.
But
that's just me.
Even Apple Music though is clunky to me.
Yeah, but they're working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a little whispers. They're actually so the reason why it's so clunky is because they built it on top of iTunes.
Yeah.
iTunes has been out for years, so obviously the database and everything behind it is old.
Yeah.
But they're working on something new. The only difference is now is they're going to separate it all out. They should have did that before they launched Apple Music, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They should have just came out the gate with it fresh and all that other stuff.
Are they going to? I mean, they're probably going to keep iTunes in.
No, they're shutting down.
They're apparently working to really shut it down. So
Damn.
it'll be Apple Music is one app. There'll be a new podcasting app.
Apple Podcasts. Yep.
Apple Podcasts, and I think there is one. Maybe they will keep iTunes. Actually, I can't see them just shutting down. Actually, no.
No, they definitely said they were shutting it down.
Yeah, I think they're creating a whole new. There's a whole Apple TV. That was the other app.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, because they're streaming.
Yeah, they're trying to focus strictly on streaming. They're forget downloads.
It's a new era. Because even Netflix still has their DVD service, but it's called a whole other thing.
Yeah.
It's not even Netflix anymore. It's a whole other.
Speaking of Netflix, company. I mean, what does everyone think about Disney Plus though?
Yep,
dog.
I'm on it.
Are you a subscriber?
Wait, is it out?
No. Will you be subscribing?
I know we talked about it last time, but yeah.
I will for sure be living with somebody who subscribes to it.
This man.
So, hey, bro, I provide the Netflix and the Hulu. Somebody else got Disney Play.
$7.
$7?
$7 is what it will cost. And we don't even know what the family plan costs. But anyway, I think it's a very smart move for Disney.
Yeah.
Because they create and own all of their content.
Yes.
But the reason why I really like it is because it is going to be new, and their incentive is to get people to come over. So on the music licensing tip,
Disney, Disney hit us up. We ready.
They're going to be looking for
we
us.
over here.
Yeah.
We're ready.
No, but the problem that we're going to run into is we have too many streaming services.
It's a great question.
Where it's going to cost so much money just to have Spotify, Netflix, Hulu,
It may be modular,
Disney Plus,
but it's still we're creating another cable service. The internet is becoming the next cable service.
Exactly. Everything just separated.
Yeah.
We're just paying for them individually. So I guess the other question is like, how do you feel about owning things now? Like, because you do not own a movie. You do not own music.
True.
You're technically renting it.
Right. Which is this, personally, I as long as physical mediums always exist, I'll be okay. I don't ever want physical mediums to disappear because it's always something tangible. Which is why vinyl is making the comeback that it is.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
though, you got to think, because like if movie studios, right, don't have to create a physical copy and spend so much money on that,
It's going to happen less.
it's going to happen a lot less.
If not at all. Like they might just eradicate it, which I get on a business tip. It makes sense. But also on a business tip, to get that nostalgic effect and to get the diehards, right? You're always going to have some sort of merch, whether it's toys, whether it's vinyl, whether it's there's always going to be something physical. As long as there is something physical, I feel like we'll be okay. But as far as like actually consuming and listening to the media, that personally, I don't think you necessarily need to own that, as long as you own part of the experience.
I think the difference though becomes when, like, for example, I saw this on HBO's app, which was super smart. Okay, they have a leaving soon section. So all their movies or like whatever shows they might have that are not going to be there next month, they have them all in this whole grouped section. I wish every streaming service did that.
That'd be so dope.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But the thing that's interesting is that, like, if something is on a streaming service, you have less of a reason to watch it because you're like, it'll be there. Like, it's always going to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you don't really go out for those special, I don't know, events, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it doesn't become a special event. It's just like, oh, it's on Netflix, so I guess I'll just put it on.
Yeah.
You know, but so I feel like the way to attack that is that they're going to start limiting how often they put certain things out, just like they used to do with the Disney Vault. So they only put out Snow White, you know, and the Seven Dwarfs or whatever, like once every 10 or 15 years, so they could get everybody watching. They're probably not going to do it to that extent, but they're going to limit releases still and limit the amount of copies that they're going to sell and sell them for more.
Well, see, Disney didn't limit, though. Disney just rebranded and remarketed. They came out every 10 years to capture the new generation of people that were trying to attract, you know, the newer, younger kids. You know, so they came out with Disney Platinum Collection, Disney Gold, Silver Platinum Collection, Disney Classics Platinum Collection, you know. And that's smart. But they didn't limit it. It's interesting. They were all the same thing, but they never like said it's only out for a limited time. They said the platinum version is only out for a limited time, but
that's the thing. It's like you can't go to the store now and go buy that platinum version. That's why the Disney movies, if you have like, I think it's like the platinum or the diamond copy or whatever, they're worth so much money because it's like one of the originals.
Version.
Yeah, like
it was
that
like,
specific version.
It's like when you get like editions of cards or something like that. Which makes sense. It's smart, you know. They're collectible items.
I'm just curious to know how that's going to pan out, though.
Yeah.
With everything, you know, turning digital.
Yeah.
So it's like if Disney won't need to necessarily do that anymore because it would always be available. Even to that point, it's like, unlike HBO and Netflix where they have to license other people's films, Disney owns it all.
Yeah.
They don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Nothing's going anywhere. It's staying on Disney. So I don't. That's the part that's going to be very different and why they're such in a different place.
Because how do you create demand when something's always there?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's why I said that's why physical I feel like will always exist because people are always going to want something.
We got Disney World.
True. Which is what it
that's
is.
Why Disney, that's exactly what Disney's thing is.
Yeah.
They're good.
They are straight.
They're straight.
true.
Like, that's
Honestly.
what I'm saying. Like,
Because even thinking about Hannah
can't-
Montana, right? When she was out doing that world tour, that was one of the biggest tours ever. The Miley Cyrus Hannah Montana tour. The majority of the money came from the merchandise sold, though.
Yep.
real.
You know?
Yeah.
So the tour was like just basically promoting the merch.
Yeah.
Right, they didn't feel the need to own the tour, or like
No.
the recording of the tour, but they wanted the merch.
But then they did record the tour, and then they sold DVD copies of the tour for like little girls who wanted to experience, who weren't able to.
There was an era where that happened a lot. Though.
Oh, yeah.
You had the
They had
Usher
it.
experience,
Oh,
Justin
my
Timberlake
God. Yeah.
live, Prince live.
Yeah.
You had,
Yep.
I don't know what that was. That was a weird.
I mean,
it was a
technically,
great time.
Beyonce
Yeah.
Netflix special.
The Netflix
technically
live.
is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It hasn't died. It's just the format's
Reinvented.
changed.
Yeah.
Like, because pay-per-view has died.
Oh,
to it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yep.
Because we have streaming service like, no.
they don't need that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, wow.
But who knows? Who knows what it'll
That's
look
crazy, man.
wow.
like 5 years
That is an interesting question, though.
Yeah.
How to create demand when,
Everything's available.
yeah.
everything is available. That's why I
At
said
all
ultimately
points
it's
in time.
going to be more limited edition
That's
run
very interesting.
things.
Yeah.
Experiments, like capsules.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to follow the Supreme route, right? Or the pop-up route even.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see a Disney pop-up.
That would be cool.
But even when you were mentioning the Hannah Montana tour, it's like, oh my gosh, Disney's going to be pushing the mess out of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
On top of whatever tour they're going to be doing as well. On top of the new Disney World that they're building in China.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the Star Wars land. Like, there's so many other pieces of their... Man, listen, everybody. We need to create a Disney. You feel me? Like, that is the goal.
That's true.
That
get
is
there.
like, what?
That's,
We will get there.
That's massive.
That's massive.
That's huge.
One day.
food for thought.
But we don't
man.
have anything else to talk about. There's a lot that happened, but we try to keep it concise.
Yeah,
Also, shout out to Epidemic Sounds. So if you remember
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the episode with Matt, Insightful, you learned that he worked at Epidemic Sounds, which is a music licensing or backing music licensing company, and sound effects company. And they hooked us up. We're partnered with them now. So when you hear some random tracks or random tunes that just give you a certain feeling, there's no words, it's just a vibe. Could be us, or it could be Epidemic Sounds. So shout out to you guys. Thank you. We're not paid to do that or anything, but just shout out for letting us partner
Hey,
with
for
you
the
guys.
support.
Shout out Epidemic.
It definitely helps. Clean
Hell yeah.
sounds, quality sounds.
Quality
I made
sounds.
the ad, actually, it's the audio ad, using some Epidemic Sounds.
Hey.
Capable of doing that now. So I appreciate
Oh, wait,
y'all.
wait. They didn't cut the check?
No.
I'm playing.
So appreciate you, Matt. Shout out to Matt for being
Shout
that
out to
plug
Matt.
and being the
Matt.
ambassador for that and allowing us to become ambassadors. So we look forward to using more of their sounds. So if you guys want to go check that out, we'll put a link in the descriptions and stuff, and go, share the love, share the Epidemic Sounds. But other than that, I think that's all we got for now. Next week's gonna be a doozy.
Yes.
What do we have next week, Luis? What are you talking about?
Oh, you know. First of all, isn't somebody coming through next week?
Yes. What are we talking about, though?
Okay, well, hold on. I gotta remember who's coming through next week because it's
Deanna.
Is it Deanna?
Yeah.
It is Deanna. Okay. So next week, the 1,000-story household, or just you and I.
Yeah.
Monty's gonna be downstairs.
He'll return.
This is me stalling.
Shortly.
We're gonna talk about how to make your own clothes out of old clothes. Flip that shit, dude. Dog, imagine this. All right, you go to Salvation Army, you buy some clothes, you buy some hoodies, you stitch that shit together. You're basically making your own clothes.
You're basically Virgil Abloh.
Yeah, you're basically Virgil Abloh. You can make a, what did he make? Wasn't it like a paperclip bracelet?
Yeah.
And sold that for a shit ton of money.
Hey.
He literally went to Staples.
Bro. Off-White is such a genius brand.
It is.
It's irony packaged. That's so
Yeah.
smart. It's a shirt that says a shirt. What? He's the
Genius.
smartest
Oh my
troll
God.
of all time.
Yeah. He was
That's so
also at
beautiful.
Coachella too.
Yep.
And I felt like that whole performance was also a troll.
Yes. Yes, it was. Shots fired. Wow. But we covered a lot, though.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. If you love us or
Yes.
don't love us, let us know. Send us some comments. Leave a review.
Yo,
Apple
shout out to
Podcasts.
the people sending reviews,
Yes,
though.
we love you. I
we
saw
see
one
you.
recently. And my heart was just a little bit touched.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I know.
But yeah, Apple Podcast reviews help a bunch.
Yes.
Comments help a bunch.
Yes.
Liking and sharing happen, and that helps so much. And we appreciate everybody who has so far. So keep doing it, and we'll keep putting these out.
Yes.
Until next time, ladies, gents, and others, this has been the 1,000 Story Podcast with Najee
And Luis.
and
Monty.
So wait, before we go, where can we find you, Monty?
You can find me at MONTYLOV everywhere.
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 And you can
And
find
same.
me at Mr. Najee Boy. That's MRNAJIBOY.
And you can find me at El Pontillo. That's ELPONTILLO.
And of course, you can find 1,000 Story at 1,000 Story _. And you would think I don't have to say it's an actual underscore, not the word underscore, but you'd be surprised at the requests we receive. So 1,000 Story _ an actual underscore, not the word underscore. So until next time, peace.
Bye.
Peace.